everybody, to Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, Lady JB Owen, and we are here today talking about igniting humanity on a very special day. It's my mom's birthday, so big shout out to Mom. Thanks for inspiring me and igniting humanity in your special way. Well, we love this show because we love to talk about ways for you to ignite humanity. We all could be igniting humanity, and how do we get to do that? Well, it's one person at a time. Last week, I was so blessed to be in LA at all the Oscar parties talking to the celebrities about igniting humanity. And it was so fun because we got to shift the conversation a little bit. Even though we were talking about the awards and the fashion and all the fun stuff, we really did get to hone in on what is it going to take to ignite humanity. And so many of those people said compassion, understanding, gratitude, kindness. It was all the fun things that we like to talk about on the show. Today's a Wednesday. So the word of the day is inspiration. How can we inspire one another? How can we motivate and intrigue another person to feel like if you can do it, I can do it too? And we do that by talking about fun Ignite moments. Not always fun Ignite moments. I think Ignite moments are fun, but sometimes Ignite moments are difficult and they're trialsome. It's Ignite moments that cause that catalyst and that friction for us to decide we're going to do something greater in our lives. And again, talking to the celebrities, it turned into this great conversation. And that's why we do this show, is it's not all about us. It becomes about humanity. It becomes about others. How can we help others, inspire others, be kind to others, gracious, this ripple effect about igniting humanity? Well, let's talk to our guest who's igniting humanity in her own amazing way. Megan, I'm going to please forgive me. I said it so good in the rehearsal. Furiacelli is a passionate woman, is a passionate human who believes that change starts with self. She is a woman and she is a human. I love it. She started her career as a teacher and left the educational environment as a school superintendent to launch Us Squared after realizing that conversations around social justice reform needed to be had in more deliberate and non-polarizing fashion. Her impactful TEDx talk and worldwide speaking engagements emphasize her approach to swapping guilt, shame, and blame for empathy and understanding, something we all need more of to ignite humanity. And today we are excited to announce that it is her launch of her new book, Metamorphosis, From Savior to Changemaker, a reflective journey to guide people through their own social justice transformation. She is going to smack me upside the head with my spelling and my reading and my incorrectness. So Megan, come to the show. Tell me how to say it correctly.
Oh, I love it. It's Furiacelli.
Furiacelli. Is it Italian?
It is Italian. I don't know what gave that away, but yes, it is Italian.
Okay, Furiacelli. I needed to say it with the hand and the accent. So Furiacelli. And then the name of the book, say it properly, because it's very unique. It has a unique turn of phrase.
It is. So it's a juxtaposition of the words metamorphosis and justice. So the title is Metamorphosis. So it's the start of metamorphosis and then the end of justice, because it's about transforming social justice and how we as individuals can truly ignite humanity and do the work that we need to do, starting with ourselves.
Beautifully said. You know what I love when I read the bios is when I trip up on something, I know that it's meant to talk about it. It's like the angel's little way of reminding me, okay, this is something to talk about because you're going to trip up on it. So I love your Italian descent. So talk a little bit about you and your story. Give us some background on who is Megan.
Yeah, so I am currently in the Detroit, Michigan area. I grew up in the Detroit, Michigan area, but spent most of my adult career in Chicago. And in my upbringing, and it actually kind of leads into that moment of this is my ignite moment, right? But I was raised in a very homogenous environment. I was raised with people who looked like me, believed the same things as me, being taught about people who look like me. And I didn't understand the diversity that was in our world until I went off to college. But as you already shared my professional background, I'm an educator by trade. And I left the education system retiring as a school superintendent to do the work I do now, which is social justice reform in companies and school systems. I am the wonderful parent to an amazing son named Reese. He's 13. and I have
Nice.
a dog named Gandhi because it all aligns with the work that we do. Um,
Yay!
exactly, exactly. So that's, I mean, I'm very close to my parents, very close to my son, and our dog is a very important part of the family as well.
It sounds like it. You know, when you have a dog named Gandhi, like it probably makes you like think differently, act differently, do things differently. I love that. Next time I have a pet, I'm going to think of like a really powerful name.
There you
So
go.
tell us about social justice, because I know for some people they hear the word justice and they think rebellion maybe, or they think like anarchy, or maybe
Yeah.
that's what I think. But what is this very a new turn of phrase, social justice? Can you explain it a little bit so people really understand what it really means?
Yeah, and I love that you brought in some of your thoughts, right? Because I think those thoughts are things that people across the world have when they first hear it. And what our goal is, you mentioned it in our introduction, but we're doing this work because we want to depolarize the stigma and the triggers that happen around these conversations. So we define social justice as making sure that people are respected within their environments, and that we're truly embracing humanity, and that we're embracing the human rights aspect of the work. So we
Mm.
really try to separate the political components of it, because automatically people hear social justice and they jump to assume that it's about politics. We try really hard to separate that, and that's our goal, is to destigmatize the conversations and take away the polarization that's there and remove some of the politics. Because what our work does, social justice work, is about human rights and ensuring that everyone is seen, heard, welcomed, and valued. It has nothing to do with political components, but sometimes that can cloud the conversation.
Well said, well said. And I think again around social, like how are we social? How do we interact with one another? How do we create a social environment? How do we make it so that everyone is having a good time at the party? Everyone is included, everyone is feeling joyous, everyone is taken care, everyone is fed, making sure that there's this real social embrace with everyone involved. And then you're right, this idea of justice in the sense that it is truly just that all people deserve their base needs. They deserve to be seen, and I always like to say to be seen, heard, and belong. And so it really is an important component of igniting humanity to bring all of those pieces together. Is there
Mhm.
something that prompted this work for you? Why did this become so important and passionate for you?
Yeah, I think I had 2 moments. The first I briefly touched on, but being raised in a very homogenous environment, going off to college, I had that culture shock moment of, "Oh
Mm.
my gosh, what is going on around me?" I didn't understand. I didn't understand the different languages, the different foods, the different like, there were so many stimuli that I'd just not been exposed to. So that was my first step into, I have to make sure that, especially as a teacher, the children that I teach don't have that same perception of the world that's so singular and sheltered.
Did
But
you feel included or excluded by not being aware of it all?
I mean, it was a very interesting experience, and I don't know if it was included or excluded as much as it was the idea of, I wasn't aware of how to intentionally include everyone else because I
Mm.
had never been exposed to anyone who was different from myself. So it was more about looking in the mirror of not necessarily how I felt in the moment, but how I was portraying myself into the world,
Yeah,
right?
and I want to ask, because a lot of times when people go in environments and they see something different than what they're used to or what they've been conditioned, they actually feel, they repel it, they judge it, they push it
Mhm.
away, they avoid it. What was it that helped you feel like you wanted to embrace it?
Yeah, and I love that question. You're exactly right. I mean, most reactions are to repel. What made me come in stronger with it was the idea of, I had a professor that really, and I speak about her in my book as well, but I had a professor that took the work, and instead of, when I would come forward with making aggressive comments that I didn't realize were bad, right? We have
Mhm.
core principles, and one of them is that we don't know what we don't know, right? We
Correct.
can't be held responsible for what we don't know, and we can't use that as an excuse to not learn and do better. But she took the opportunity to invite me into her home and to invite me into her world to help me understand and gain experiences rather than shutting me down or telling me that I was bad or just ignoring me because I made a comment that hit her the wrong way.
Mm.
And I still reflect and I still look back. I mention her in my book. I mention her in many conversations. Um, but she was the turning point that allowed me. It was one person that allowed me to ignite that change. And now I'm able to do the work I do where I impact almost, I think our TED Talk has more than 1 million views,
Yes,
but we're
yes.
right? And we're able to impact so many more people, and it all started with her, and that was what
Mm.
really inspired me with this podcast specifically and this work of Ignite Humanity is it only takes one person. And I love
Mm.
that our word for the day is inspiration because it only takes one person to inspire another person that can create that ripple effect to really do some great things.
Yeah, I mean, that's really why we do this show, is because it is one person. That teacher was the person who created a catalyst in you, and now you are out helping humanity and doing multiple, inspiring multiple hundreds of people, thousands of people, millions of people with your talk. So it's really the message for the viewers at home. If you feel like, what am I, can I do? I'm just one person, how can I make such a huge impact? This really is an example of one person can inspire one person who can inspire change. And again, with Gandhi's quote right behind you, I mean, that's so beautiful. We can be the change. Tell us a little bit now your mission to ignite humanity and why this feels so aligned. How is social justice so important for the big picture of humanity?
Yeah, so I started doing this work for my unborn children. It was, I need to make sure, I think when all of us look to that idea of becoming parents, we look to the idea of making sure that the world is a better place for our children and our future generations than it was for us. So I started doing the work 25 years ago for my unborn children. I now have a son, as you mentioned in my bio, and I do this work for him and I do this work for my unborn grandchildren.
Mm,
I I know that it is our job, and I think every parent, when they have their child, the first time they look in their eyes, we make a promise to our children. And we make a promise to our children to make sure that they have the very best life that they possibly can, not free of turmoil or stress, because that helps us grow into the humans that we are, but that we will do our best to make sure that we're providing that impact, that we're leaving that legacy, that we're leaving that footprint in the world, and that we're holding the door open for our children to have an even better life than we had. Um, and that's what keeps me going is my son.
mm,
And our future generations keeps me going. And knowing that everything we do today is going to impact the lives of people that we've never even met before. And
mm.
it's up to us to make sure that we're living a life that will leave an impact of positivity and growth and not an impact of negativity or despair.
Yeah, that really hits home for me also because I do this work also for my kids. I have two beautiful children, two amazing stepkids, four kids in my beautiful realm. And I do also think about my unborn grandchildren, many, I hope, and great grandchildren. And I have the same strong viewpoint. What for my grandkids and my kids as they go on in their life, what are we setting for them? What are we leaving them with? What are we preparing them for? What are we allowing to unfold? How can humanity be better for them so that it's better for the next generation and the next generation after that? And sometimes I feel like maybe the work I do will not be it to fruition in this lifetime, in my lifetime, but if we can each move the needle a slight bit to create a new change that perpetuates into a greater change, it will build, it will grow, it will foster, and it will become. And so folks, if you're feeling like I'm too old or I can't do it or I'm past my prime, no, you can start to move the needle in a way that starts making humanity be a better place for everyone and for the future generations. And you're right, this is really what legacy is leaving something behind after you are gone. Well, let's talk about the book because that obviously is a legacy for you. Congratulations, book launch day. I love it.
Yes.
Congratulations. So what was the Ignite moment around creating this book?
So it's been on my heart for years, and I think anyone who has a book on their heart will say that same thing when it finally does come out into the public. And to be very honest, we had quite a few things on our hearts, and I had quite a few books ready to go. And over the last 4 to 6 years, our business has gotten much more busy.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of current events and lots of things have happened, obviously, in the last few years that have caused that. But I had to focus on the business, and we grew tremendously quickly, much larger than ever anticipated. And I needed to focus on that. And my clients were getting to the point where they were like, "Do you have a book yet? Can I just get the book?" Like every time I would say
Mm.
something, they'd be like, "Oh, that's great. Where can I get that?" Or, "Oh my gosh, why don't you have all of your stuff compiled in one place?" I said, "Well, I'm working on that. I have a book. It's just been too busy." And my team and a couple of my clients basically had an intervention, and they said, "Megan, you can't wait any longer. We need you to do this." My team stepped up and took care of a lot of things going on in the background so that I could take the time. And because I had the outline already done, once I said, "All right, I'm going to do it," it really didn't take that long, but
Mm.
it was almost like an intervention, like I said, from clients and my team saying, "No, we're not going to wait any longer. Get it done." And now we're on track to release 2 books every year for the next 4 years because we have 7 books. So we might come up with an 8th
Yes.
just to make it an even number, but 7's kind of a big thing with us squared. So
I love it. I love it. So tell me, what does the book offer the reader? What are they getting from it by reading the book?
yeah, absolutely. So the readers in this book, and I have it here just to kind of
Hold it up,
show.
girl. Yay,
Yeah.
congratulations. Book
I'm
launch
sure it's
day.
a shocker to everyone, but it's purple. I don't know if you can see
Nice.
a theme or a trend at all. Um, but it is a reflective journal that really guides people through their own social justice transformation. So it is not a novel that is meant to be digested and just pour into it. It is meant to be read in small chunks so that you can really take the time to process, because every single chapter has 7 journal prompts to help the reader think about what this means to them. Because
Mm,
too often when we're reading a book, we will take notes in the margins, but we don't take that time to really reflect ourselves on how it can relate to our lives. And
right.
this book purposely ensures that everyone aligns it directly to their personal lives and their professional lives.
I love those kind of books because it gets you active and participating instead of just, receiving or just reading and then digesting. This gets you like, okay, what did I learn? What do I know? How can I put that together? Turn it into something more and then take action. We always need to take action. Folks, look on the ticker tape below and you will see a place where you can go to Megan's website, and that will guide you directly to the link where you can get a copy on Amazon today. And Megan has also shared Barnes and Noble and all of the major retailers. You can get her book. So go and do that. It is our responsibility to be concerned and contributing to the social justice around the globe, wherever you are in the world, no matter what country you're in. It's so important that you make this a part of your journey. Again, if you can make one small impact in the lives of others, that ripple effect is powerful. Please go get a copy. Check it out. Hold it up one more time. Absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely.
Tell us, what is the symbolism of purple?
So I have lupus, and the
Mm.
ribbon for lupus awareness is purple. So it started with that, and I would wear my lupus ribbon after I was diagnosed. And then as I was going out to clients and different people, they started to say how much they liked the purple. And then my team started wearing purple, and clients would say, "Oh, even if I haven't met anyone, if they're wearing purple, I know it must be your team." So now it
Mm.
became a thing, and everything is purple, and I love it because people know me as the purple girl, and they know our team
Mm.
is the purple team. So it's been a pretty great branding effort, not intentional. There was no psychographics behind why purple was the color. It was all around lupus awareness and making sure that we talk about what that looks like and what that means.
And that too is a powerful ignite moment because it's something that you could say, oh, I can't do this because I have lupus. I'm not capable. This isn't possible. That could have sent you down a trajectory of unable to. And yet here you are saying, despite that, I know I can do this. And I love it when people become the hero of their story. It doesn't mean it's perfect, it's fixed, it's all okay. Everything is, oh, ha, ha, ha. It means that you've decided that despite this particular experience, you two are going to create this other experience in your life. And so, bravo to you for doing that.
Thank you so much.
It's great work. I love that about our guest folks and how they have decided that regardless of what's going on in their lives, they want to do something to ignite humanity. Megan, give us some tips. What can we do at home ourselves? What can each and every one of my viewers do as the show ends? What are some things that they can do to help with this initiative that you are so passionate about?
Yeah, I think the first one is to be able to look in the mirror and acknowledge that all of us have first thoughts, or what we're hearing in society a lot is implicit biases. Again,
Mm,
that phrase, just implicit bias, can bring a lot of trigger and a lot of response. So we switch it around to say first thoughts. When you first walk into a new environment, when you first meet someone, you have first thoughts. We all do. It's because of how we were raised. And if we can look in the mirror and acknowledge that we have those first thoughts so that we can interpret what those mean. And then we can look within and figure out how we can make sure when we're communicating with people, we're not putting that out into the universe. So I think that first piece is just acknowledging our own first thoughts that we have. And the second is once we
Just
acknowledge,
can I just stop you? I just want to clarify. So is it
yeah,
my first thoughts about how I fit in, my first thoughts about what I see in other people or what I hear or what I interpret based on how people are dressed or talking or acting or their language or their is it just my first judgments and impressions and thoughts about my environment?
all of the above, yes. So it
Okay,
is
good.
all of the above. So it's when you walk into a space, when you meet someone new, are you looking at what kind of clothes they have on? When someone pulls up in a car, do you have a
Mm,
first thought because of what kind of car they're driving?
mm.
If you see the bottom of someone's shoe and it happens to be red, what are your first thoughts when you first see that? Right. So,
Yeah, that's interesting. I was in the airport and there was a woman in front of me and she smelled like mothballs. And I did actually have like these first thoughts
mhm,
about the smell of mothballs. And then I started to think like, well, this is interesting because, maybe this was her first trip and she had quite a really nice coat on. And I was thinking maybe she took her coat out of her storage. And I started to like make this big story
yeah,
about like all of these reasons and it made me not be offended by the smell of mothballs. I was thinking like maybe this is an exciting trip for her and she really cares about her things and how many people are using mothballs and why do we have mothballs and what are those moths doing and where must she come from and where does she live and does she have a cedar closet and I went on this big thing.
yeah, and so many people do, right? And the stories that we tell ourselves based on our first thoughts,
Right.
sometimes they go the direction that you went in, which is very positive, and we come up with this grand story. And sometimes it's in a very negative fashion. And I
Correct.
think as humans, we have to acknowledge that we have the capability of going down both paths. And I'm
Mm,
sure that every single one of our listeners, anyone tuning in right now, has gone down both paths at any given
right.
point, right? And if we can acknowledge that within ourselves without the shame and the blame and the guilt, so that we can have authentic, real conversations, that's when we'll be able to not just ignite humanity one person at a time, but ignite humanity one society at a time. And that's the work we
Mm.
need to do. Is it's so critical to start with one person, and it's even more critical to make sure that we spread that so that it hits an entire society instead of staying in our own bubble of ourselves.
And so do we have the conversation with ourselves or do we have the conversation with the person? Should I have been more gracious and has sparked up a conversation with her and said, "Oh, I can tell you must be traveling," or
Right.
would it have ignited humanity more for me to reach out to her or more for me to process my own immediate thoughts?
So the first step is to process your immediate thoughts. The second step is to lean into curiosity, not
Mhm.
ask the question of, why do you smell like mothballs? Right? But maybe ask the question, are you heading home or going on vacation? Where are you
Right.
traveling to? Start the conversation, because as you've shared, everyone wants to be seen, heard, and they want to belong. In
Mhm.
our area, we say everyone deserves to be seen, heard, welcomed, and valued, which leads to a sense of belonging. So we speak similar languages.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's about opening up the conversation so that people are seen, heard, and valued. And it's not about opening the conversation with what that sticking point or first thought was, but it's opening up the conversation because I bet you'll come up to understand what the story is, because maybe they'll share, oh, I'm traveling for the first time in 30 years. I'm so
Right.
nervous.
Right,
Right?
right.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Such good conversation. Folks, I really want you to realize that this curiosity, this openness, this willingness to have these thoughts, then move through them and connect with others is so powerful. Grab a copy of Megan's book. Go and get it at her website. We'll share with you on the ticker tape. And then if you want to know more about what Megan is up to and the S Squared community, check out her website and see what she is doing and her team, how they are igniting humanity in their own very unique way. It just takes one person to spark change, spark justice, and we are going to have a much better planet, a much better future for all of us. Thank you so much for being here. Great, great blessings to you on your book launch. It's going to be a fantastic day. Go bestseller and rock it out of the house, my darling.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. And thank you for allowing me to be here on Mom's birthday.
Yay, Mom's birthday. Thank you
Woo!
so much. All right, blessings. Folks, books are so powerful, and I encourage you to get this book because, it's great to read stories and talk about things, but it's also great to read things that inspire you to act differently, to treat people in a unique way, to do something a little bit different than what you're doing. If you're looking at yourself in the mirror and thinking, it's time for me to make a change, then find a book that gives you the tools and the strategies that you need. Megan's books walks you through a journey. So imagine you discovering and uncovering what's important to you and how you can ignite humanity in your own unique way. You have talents, gifts, and unique attributes that are only unique to you. And so imagine accumulating those together in a way to make some social impact and ignite the lives of others. Well, I hope this show has been inspiring on this fabulous Wednesday. If you'd like to know more what we're up to, please visit our website. We've got lots going on, Igniting Humanity. We are doing the largest compilation book on the planet so far, hoping to break a Guinness Book of World Records, talking about igniting humanity and using those powerful Ignite moments. If you've got a story to share and you would like to be published in this colossal, monumental book, please check out our website. If you would also like to be on the show, we'd love to have you. Please fill out our type form. And we're sharing that because we want to hear stories from all over the globe, wherever you are in the world watching this show right now. Fill out our type form and let us know how you are igniting humanity so we can talk to you. And most importantly, if you'd like to hang out with the Ignite community, come on down to Las Vegas in May 16th and 17th. We are doing a Gather-rama, bringing people together to talk about your business, your brand, your book, and your breakthroughs, all the important things that are helping you elevate into the entrepreneur you've always wanted to be, the coach, the teacher, the trainer, the author, and really inspiring you to do the things that you can do to ignite humanity. Well, have a great day. Happy birthday, Mom. Blessings to everyone. Take care.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.